What up, everybody? I don't know if we're recording or not. Lost Crunk. But if we are recording, then welcome. Welcome to Shades of Blue, the lit stream, the Thursday night live lit stream. We will see if we can get Crunk back on. Uh, Reality is, I don't have the controls. I don't have the ability to bring in and out our guests. So I'm not listed as an admin. So you just get to listen to me vamp until Crunk jumps back on. Uh, we have a couple guests that we were supposed to have on. So we'll get to them soon. But in the meantime, it's just your boy holding down the fort, trying to keep things moving. So let's look at. Oh, did we see somebody coming back? All right. Well, until we get them back on, let's just go ahead and look at the calendar. I know the men have a game coming back. What's good? You back on? I was like, I just got to vamp because I don't have the controls. I can't do nothing. I can't bring nobody else on. I just got to sit here and talk. And I was going to pull up the schedule to see like what's the men's calendar looking like, what's the women's calendar looking like. But it was really just me making it up. So
I
if you're out
mean,
there listening, watching, then it is what it is.
yeah, that the fire all alone. It's not the fun. I know, Tarek with the freestyle. Shout out
It
to
wouldn't have
every.
been too bad if I could have just clicked the button and bring in our guests, because
I
then I could have
know,
just did that.
I know. Uh, Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Twitter. We will have fantastic guests for you. We got Jermaine, we got Kate, we got Kyle. I'll say their last names. We give them a little more formal entrance later. Tom Bomb,
What
okay,
up?
look at you bulling. You going crazy.
What's going on, y'all? I said I would drink one seltzer for every guest that we had, so I'm trying to start on the first one before we bring the first guest up.
Well, then we can, boom, there we go. First guest, Jermaine Scott, the homie. Um, Also,
What's good? What's good?
I'm a big fan of giving people support for their ats, and Black Soccer Doc. That's a very solid at name because I mean it's just like direct. It says kind of what you're doing, what you are, except for
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean I know what you are. Docs short videos, but also it could also be doc like you're out here saving lives, or maybe you're a dentist, or
I
maybe
mean,
you're
my
a
man got
trainer.
his PhD. I think he said he's got his PhD. That's a earned doc.
Oh, that's the doc.
Yeah,
He
that
earned it.
yeah that, that
Oh,
that's a
that's
that's a
the
for
doc.
real doctor.
Yeah, he
Okay.
Yes, sir.
earned that
Yes, sir.
money.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is
Yes,
what
sir.
is
Yes,
what is the
sir.
doctorate in?
Yeah, I got a PhD in African American Studies, Black
Hmm.
Studies, from Northwestern University.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
Yeah, so
dang.
I'm a professor actually at Florida Atlantic University.
Oh, nice.
I wrote my
Okay.
dissertation on soccer in the African diaspora, basically, and so that's kind of what I've been working on for the past couple of years. And yeah, I teach classes on African American history, African diaspora history. I'm teaching a class in the spring on sports history. So yeah, a little bit kind of all over the place, but I think I'm trying to
That's
focus it
dope.
in with the Black Soccer Doc
That's dope.
brand, I guess.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, busy dude. I bet.
Yeah,
Uh,
trying to stay busy, trying to stay busy.
all right. Who do you support? Let's I guess get it like football clubs. Like, who are you a
Oh
supporter of?
yeah, I mean you already know what it is. Supporter of the beloved Manchester
I was gonna
City.
We
say, can't
love
I can
to
see the crack.
see it.
I can see the
We
cat.
love to
You
see
already know it. You
it.
already know. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. So definitely, yeah, support of Manchester City in the Premier League and over here in the States, Inter Miami in MLS.
Yes, and
Yeah, yeah.
I would say you are you're very much a fan of Inter Miami because of the fact that you do a few things that show your fandom for Inter Miami. If you catch what I'm saying, I'm trying to lead you into talking about.
Yeah. So, you broke up a little bit on my end, but I think I
Oh,
know where you're going. So yeah, I'm definitely a supporter of Inter Miami. I'm a co-founder of a group down here called Black Herons, Black Herons United. Um, yeah, me and a couple of other homies, we created it about 2 years ago. Yeah, we just kind of been building since. We're trying to create, a space for Inter Miami supporters to prioritize and center South Florida's Black history and Black culture through football. So that's what we're doing. Catch us on the socials. We also have a podcast called Dreaming of Freedom podcast. So that's been going well. Trying to keep that consistent. Trying to get like y'all, to be honest. Trying to come through with the consistency. But yeah, so trying to do a lot of
well,
things. But
you need 4 more people. So get that, and you'll be good. That
Yo,
might
it's a
help
process,
you a
yo.
little bit. That might help you a little bit with getting some of the stuff out.
Word. But I mean, definitely shout out to Callie and AD, my co-host. But yeah, I mean, definitely, God, we
Oh,
need
so
some
he
help.
only
We
needs
need
2 more then.
only need two more. Only need two
Yes.
more. Right.
Yes.
But it's a process, man. I mean, as y'all know, doing a whole podcast is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. So,
Yes.
shout out to y'all for doing the thing.
Hey, and shout out to you for doing
Appreciate
it.
that, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, we can stay with Inter Miami.
Yeah,
There was
talk to us about your summer, because I'm sure your summer was lit as an Inter Miami fan.
Listen, this entire past few months has been a complete roller coaster, right? This summer, obviously, Leagues Cup, Messi arriving was just absolutely nuts. His first game right there in Drive Pink Stadium was just a freaking movie, to be honest. So it's just been magical. However, like I could say, it's been magical only when he plays, right? Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to play as much as everyone. The team is. I mean, let's be real. The team is the same old team without him, right? And so um, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of discussions being had in these Inter Miami circles and these Inter Miami streets. But I think for the most part, it's been an exciting time just to actually witness, arguably the greatest player to ever play the game do his thing. But it's had some consequences, man. Like season ticket prices are shooting through the roof. There's a lot of concerns about what the supporter culture is going to look like in the actual stands.
Okay.
Pre Messi it was like cool, it was chill to go into the stands, like in the supporter section. Now it's like unbearable, if you ask me personally. But so there's a lot going on, so Messi, when he comes, he brings a lot of good, but a lot of negative has also accompanied his arrival. So we just got to take it, blow for blow, and keep it moving. But it's good overall.
So you brought up the season ticket prices. Like, are you at all concerned that these rumors of him moving on from Inter Miami are going to come to fruition, but yet you're still going to be charged these
Locked in.
astronomical
Yeah.
rates?
Listen, it's I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future. The deadline is at the end of the month to renew. I still haven't renewed, so I'm still like pondering whether or not. I mean, at this point, it's like, what is this a good financial decision, right? Like, it's like the prices are that high. It's like, all right, I really need to factor this in, like, seriously. So yeah, I'm trying to figure all that out. I'm hoping this man returns. I mean, I imagine he will return for next season. Whether or not he extends that 1 year option is a question, but there's just a lot going on with the club. I think, kind of going back to Black Herons, I think one benefit of renewing, even though there's this stupid increase, is it's keep Black Heron kind of thriving, like, at the games, right? It kind of keeps our presence kind of solidified at the games, right? That you have a lot of, I mean, Black Herons have a lot of season ticket members, right? And so if that goes away, then what happens to Black Herons, right? So there's a lot of discussions, being had in our group. about the future, right? Because these prices are not a joke. These prices are not a joke. So a lot of people are talking about moving sections, to find a cheaper section. Like I currently have 2 tickets. So if I do renew, I'm definitely only going to renew for 1 ticket, right? So there's all these different options to be discussed, but it's just very questionable times right now, to be honest, for an Inter Miami supporter. But it's all good.
I hadn't heard the rumor of him leaving. I had heard about potentially going on loan, like in the MLS offseason. But the most recent rumor that I heard is Luis Suarez coming.
Yo, I just saw that actually today. I heard that Tata said that Suarez is, kind of locked and loaded, ready to come to Inter Miami next season, and to, of course, join back with Messi. Me personally, listen, I'm not a Suarez fan. I'm not a Suarez fan for multiple different reasons.
Sure.
Yep.
For a number of different reasons. One being, allegations of racism.
Yep.
Another being that Ghana match back in 2010, I believe, or 20 or
where he did the Mike Tyson.
Yo,
Yes.
It's no. The handball. Well, I mean,
I'll say that was a deliberate handball.
The multiple bites is one thing. Yes, the multiple bites is one thing. I wasn't even thinking about that, but the Ghana match where he did a handball in the box to prevent a goal, then it went to obviously it was a penalty kick. I think it was Asamoah Gyan, I think, that took the shot, missed the penalty kick. It could have won the game. It ended up going into overtime, and Ghana lost to Uruguay. It was a terrible match. We got our revenge back in Qatar, ironically. But so I don't really rock with Suarez like that. Now, of course, is he a proven goal scorer? Yes. Right? Is he probably going to make my team better? Yes. But I'm definitely not going to be standing up on the bleachers rooting for that man.
That's what's up. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, it's like, it's just nuts, right? It's not.
Go ahead.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh, no. I was gonna go away from the footy for a little bit. So go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I wanted to shout out Wikipedia in the chat. He asked the question: how is your the Black Herons' relationship with the Inter Miami front office? Like, I know that
yes,
we have had some friends on recently about talking about their experience, like having a Black supporters group and their experience with the front office. So I'd be interested to hear what your experience is with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have an open relationship with the front office. I'd say that. So to be clear, we are not an official supporter group of Inter Miami.
Okay.
Right. You have 5 official supporter groups. You have Siege, you have Vice City, which is the main, kind of the main face of the supporter groups. You have Southern Legion, which is also another OG. So like those are the 3 OG kind of SGs of Inter Miami. And then you have 2 new ones called Nacion and Inter Miami Supporters, right? So those are the 2 new official supporter groups of Inter Miami. Black Herons exists as an independent supporter group, right? So we're not officially recognized by the club. However, the club knows about us. The front office knows about us. We have connections in the front office. However, it's just been tough to get things that we want, right, pushed through the club, right, because we're not an official supporter group, right? So there's pros and cons, right? There's the pros is that we kind of maintain our independence. We can do what we want. We can say what we want in our own kind of space. The cons is that the club is probably not going to sponsor it, right? The club is probably not going to look out, right? So, these are things that we battle as an independent SG, but I think for the majority of us, we kind of have settled on the fact that we're going to maintain our independence just so we kind of have the freedom to move the way we want to move, right? If we were an official SG, we probably couldn't say half the shit we were saying on our socials or, all the things we talk about. So, so we like that independence.
How many people, sorry, Tom, how many people make up Black Heron?
So officially, and I say officially by member count, it's around 70. But active members is probably close to about 15, 20 And I say active, I mean like in the chats, in the group chats, coming to the tailgates. The tailgates is probably a little bit lower number, right? We're probably talking about like 5 that consistently come to games, right? That kind of have that access to come to games like that. Yeah, so it's a big range. So we try to hit multiple different spaces, whether it's in the group chat, whether it's on social media, whether it's physically at the games. We try to kind of spread ourselves in that way, and we have good relationships with the other SGs, particularly Siege and other independent supporter groups that exist within Miami.
That's what's up.
So, yeah, it's a good little setup. It's just the club needs to get on board. Like we're trying to get little things done. Like, hey, let's have a Caribbean night, right? Like let's have a Caribbean night. We're in South Florida, like there's hella Caribbean folk out here.
That just seems obvious to me.
It seems obvious, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side, it seems like a bad business decision when you don't do it, right? It's like you literally could be, anyways,
Right.
Whatever. So yeah, the club needs to get on board, but they'll get on board eventually, hopefully.
Because I believe that this was you all basically had to bully the club into posting about Black History Month. Is it correct?
Yeah. Absolutely. They pulled that shit last year. They didn't say anything last year about Black History Month, and we called them out then. And then this year, we were like watching them, right? Like we like posted, or like, hey, we're watching y'all. Like, make sure y'all do something, right? Like we posted like a little letter that we added that we actually sent to the front office, right? Speaking of the relationship that we have. We wrote a letter, we sent it to the front office, kind of expressing our concerns and all these things, and we didn't hear back from them, and so we kind of put that letter on social media, and then within a few hours they had they had their Black History Month posts set up, ready to go. So they know we exist and they hear us. It's it's just the politics down here, man. It's just the politics. It's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts.
Well, okay, so
Florida
not to
politics.
go deep, not to get deeper into it, but yeah, what is it like having the education you have in Black history and then dealing with a situation like that?
Okay, sorry. It was breaking up. You say what was it like dealing with what type of situation?
Just the overall having to be on them about supporting Black History Month while also having the education that you have. Just with the extra education, there's more flaws and things that you can see, and more eloquent ways that I guess you can point out the insanity in them not, I guess, saying, hey, Black people, have a good month. Like, that's all it really is.
Just like, the bare minimum is all we're asking for. It's like literally the bare minimum. Like, yeah, it's frustrating, to be honest. And I also don't think the club like realizes like, all right, oh, this guy actually is, he studied this, right? Like, this is what he has his degrees in, right? And so I don't think they like appreciate that or recognize that. But it's unfortunate. I think what's more unfortunate is just being in Florida with the kind of overall political climate with DeSantis and all of his shenanigans, and like a literal attack on African American history, on diversity, on all of these things. And so it's just stressful being an educator of this content, of this topic in the state of Florida in general. And then having to do it with the club that you support, the club that you love so much. It's like, why don't you love me back? Like that Will Smith, right? Like the Will Smith, like the Fresh Prince episode. Like, why don't he love me, man?
It's like, how come he don't love me no more?
How come he don't love me, man? It's like, like that's all we're asking for. It's like, just love us back. Just love us back. But
all right.
That's also the state of, I guess, African Americans and Black people in general.
Yes. Yeah.
America, just love us back, please. Right?
Well, let's move to City. International break is back. The men are playing. They face Brighton, a team that has been struggling and need a win. Like, absolutely have to do everything possible to win. How are you feeling about the match? What are you thinking about the match? Do you have any special takes, thoughts on the match? Like, is this where do you see?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm I'm feeling okay. Yeah, I mean, to your point, Brighton's down a little bit. I also feel like City's down a little bit too,
Okay.
right? Like
Yeah.
I think it was like two
Lost your
wins in the
last two
last
league
three
matches.
matches, or yeah, 2 wins in the last 5 matches in all competitions. Is like, yeah, we're trying to figure some things out as well. So I think it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, I do think we'll win. But yeah, I think it's both teams still trying to figure some things out at an interesting part of the season. So it's gonna be fascinating to see kind of both teams play to their tactics and figure things out in game, right? Kind of the in game adjustments that's gonna happen. But I think we'll get it together and pull through.
So do you think that De Zerbi's actually going to come out and play with City? Like, because I think that like City over the last 2 or 3 years has done a really good job of like teams that wanted to play with them. City has
Yeah,
punished them, um, and I
yeah. I mean, I do think he is going to want to play with them. I do think he's going to come out and try to play his style of ball, right? Like he plays an attacking style of football, and so I think he's not going to shy away from City or Pep. So whether or not we respond to that accordingly is the question. But I do think he is going to stick to his guns, stick to his tactics, and do what he usually does. Again, they've been having some trouble, so maybe he plays it a little conservative, right? Maybe he kind of falls back a little bit, put some more numbers behind the ball. I think at the end of the day, he'll, at least at the start, right? At least the first 15, 20 minutes, he's going to come out trying to figure out how to attack. So we'll see. It's gonna be a good matchup. I know for sure.
Let's go. All right. Well, you said it's a good match. That's not good enough. This is a lit stream. Before we get you out of here, I need a score prediction.
Yee! Okay, let's do 3-1 City. Doku brace.
Oh,
ooh, I love that. Love that.
There we go.
About that.
There we go.
Wow.
All right.
How y'all feeling about Doku?
Oh, man. Just
Yeah, just
love. Yeah. Can't
yes,
love enough.
yes. Like it's. I think
How you feeling about
collectively.
that gritty?
So we said this on the last show that like Tarek and I like have admitted to being old. So like we don't know what the
Right.
new hotness is. We don't know that. So whatever the children are doing that is hot, like maybe he should evolve to that. Perhaps.
I just think the gritty
I did
is
feel like it was a little too long.
well.
Yes.
I just
Like
feel like
he carried it a little too long.
I mean, I remember Ja Morant doing the gritty at least a season ago in basketball terms, maybe even a season and a half. So I just feel like, okay, we've seen that. It's become they got it in EA EAFC now, right? They've got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
They got the gritty in there. So it's like, okay, it's a little too commercialized. Let's do something else. Let's find something else,
Okay.
whatever that is. And again, I don't even know what it is, but just find
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
else
I'm
and
like,
bring
what
it
is
to
it?
it. So,
Yeah, that's a great point.
so you are a professor of African American Studies. I saw that you attended FAMU,
Yes. Yeah.
which is
Yes,
dope.
Yes.
I love the green and orange. I'm a Miami fan,
Yeah.
Hurricanes, so I
Yeah. I
love
see
it.
you in the back. Tough
But
times right now, but it's okay. It's okay. We gonna make it.
don't remind me. It'll just ruin the rest of this whole thing for me.
Apologies.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, how do we get more HBCUs to have soccer programs?
Wow, man.
There's a couple,
That is
but
a great question. Yes. That's a great question. Yeah, and there are a couple. I will say that HBCUs are way ahead of the game in terms of women's soccer than they are men's soccer.
yes, for sure.
Right, I think the SWAC conference has a really thriving
Yes.
women's soccer
Yes, it
division.
does.
So shout out to them. HBCUs have had an interesting history with soccer programs, right? We have Howard University that won the championship, the NCAA championship back in the 70s. Shout out to Lincoln Phillips. We also had back in like the early 20th century, Howard used to play against teams like Lincoln University. I think there was one other team maybe up in New York that they used to play against. So there was like a small cohort of HBCUs that had soccer
Okay.
teams, right? But I think to kind of directly answer your question, I think one way that HBCUs can really start building soccer programs, really start building footy programs is tapping into, and some people might whatever feel some type of way about this, but tapping into that foreign, right? Those kind of foreign students, right? The students that have Jamaican backgrounds, the students that have African backgrounds, the students that have Caribbean backgrounds, the students that have Latin American backgrounds, right? If you're not gonna get those African American students, right, to buy into the game, that's fine. Like we don't need to force that, right? But that's not to say there are not black people that are playing the game, right? Like there are black people that
Right.
are playing the game. You just like, and that's why Howard is so important, because Howard has so many international students, right? And so I think if the HBCUs were to tap into the international student body, I think they'd find some real gold, like a real gold mine in terms of building their soccer programs. Right now, there's another question about how to build or how to expand football for African Americans, right? For Black people in the states, in and from the states. That's another question, right? That will take a lot of time to answer,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
But I think that's what HBCUs can start doing, is tapping into their that international student body, and that's where they're going to find that interest and that passion for the game.
That's what's
Hey,
up.
that's
Appreciate
great.
it.
Yeah. Well, please plug yourself, plug your things one more time before you get out of here.
Yes. First of all, thank you all again for having me. I really appreciate it. Let's do it
Absolutely.
again.
Absolutely.
So you can find me at Black Soccer Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find Black Herons at Black Herons UTD on Twitter and Instagram. Now, bear with me for the podcast, Dreaming of Freedom podcast. It's on Twitter. It's at Freedom Dreams BH. Okay, at Freedom. Dreaming of Freedom was taken. Dreaming of Freedom pod with all the options, all the obvious options were taken. So we had to get a little creative. So Instagram is at Dreaming of Freedom pod. So a lot to take in. But thank you all again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no, I
Thanks for
appreciate
coming on.
you.
Yes.
You have a
Thank
good
you so
rest of
much.
your night, sir. See ya.
All right, bless.
All right. Ah, that was nice. That was nice. Okay. And second beat or second seltzer, excuse me.
Yeah, second seltzer. That's right.
Second seltzer opens up, and that means second guest. Oh my gosh. I'm so Kate Tischler. I had the guttural earlier, but it's all gone. I've been like clearing my throat too much, I guess. Kate, hi, hello from Canada. We're keeping
Yes.
the international going, baby. Look at us.
That's right.
How are you?
Yeah.
How are things? Thanks for coming on.
I'm good. Yeah, no, things are good. So thanks for having me on, guys.
We
Appreciate it.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And I'm excited to have you on because I'm excited to talk about mess. And today has provided nothing but a plethora of mess for us to talk about. Are you excited to talk about
It's Twitter is blowing up right now. It's a huge thing going on. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy story that's breaking right now. So
Okay, so
yeah,
tell me
we'll see.
about it. What's going on?
Well, a lot of it, nothing's been confirmed yet, but there's a little bit of drama going on with Ashlyn Harris and Ali Krieger right now. So two players on
Yeah.
the U.S. women's national team that were married and looks like they're heading for a divorce, and there's kind of cheating scandal going on. So Twitter is just collectively losing their minds, as the world
Twitter
of
needed this, though. Twitter
yeah,
needed
yeah.
this.
It seems
Also-
like it's a daily basis for women's soccer, though. Like there's always something going on lately. So,
Also, today is Ashlyn Harris's birthday.
yeah,
saw
that's a
that.
thing too.
I saw that. The
The poor
women's
U.S. women national team admins
Yeah.
just got roasted, absolutely roasted in the quote tweets.
Like truly, just like I'm
bad.
just doing my job. I'm just
Yep.
doing my
Leave
job.
me alone. Leave me alone. I have to.
I knew this was gonna blow up. Like,
Yep.
my bosses is high fiving me right now.
I had some somebody tweeted that still from Abbott Elementary was like, I do my job, I go home. Like
Right.
that was the
Yeah,
admin. That was the
yeah.
admin.
Get
In,
Ralph from
I
that
get
beginning.
in, I drop it, I leave. Like I'm
Yes.
out. Right?
Log out.
Like,
Mute
yep.
conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't know like a lot. Like I'm not super familiar with the U.S. Women's National Team players actually, because
Sure.
Yeah.
sorry guys, but I've gone a lot out of my way to not watch a lot of their matches.
No, and you should, And I was actually, I did want to pivot to your all's national team and just kind of like
Mm.
get what were your feelings coming out of the World Cup, like with Canada's finish and it being not what you had expected based off of the results from the previous large tournament in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, so it definitely was disappointing. Like there's no getting around that. I think there was like some tactical decisions that were made by Bev that had a lot of us guessing and stuff, but just it was kind of understandable. Like I wasn't the World Cup's never been our strong suit, and we're still going through stuff with our federation right now. Like in a World Cup
Yes.
year, they were cutting funding for our women's team in a World Cup year. That's what they were fighting for still. Like everyone's like, oh, they came to an agreement, but that's not nothing's been really settled. It was just kind of like a temporary settlement, but like Canada Soccer kind of went through all the hoops to get the men's team to their World Cup and stuff like that. So the women were kind of asking for the same thing. And it just feels like Canada Soccer was like, no, yeah, you know what? We're gonna actually just slash your budget. So now that you're, trying to focus on building for a World Cup, how do you do that when you like your camps are getting slashed, when you're not getting home games? We went 15 months without a home game here. Like they just no send off game for them, like the way they've been treated by the federation. So you can say there's lots of distractions and stuff like that, and people will be like, "Oh, it's an excuse," but it's a legit thing. I think that could have like mentally affected them, and there's just some other issues going on. We're missing some players due to injury, but like a lot of teams are too, right? So, um, what happened? What helped was like I was at the Olympic qualifier with when they beat Jamaica to qualify for next year's Olympics.
Mhm.
So I think that kind of like got them their confidence back a little bit. You could see how happy the players were. So I think they've been playing without kind of like joy for a while just because there's just a lot weighing on them, right? Like the team has won 3 medals and they deserve so much better than
Yeah.
what our federation is
Yeah.
giving them.
So what is the future of Canada Soccer? I mean, I haven't really kept up on that, but the last time I heard that they were essentially filing for bankruptcy, and I'm not sure how bankruptcy works in Canada.
Yeah, so they're not doing that anymore because I think Jason DeVos was like pretty adamant, like, no, we're not gonna start over, we're not gonna do this. So everything's a lot of that stuff's still up in the air. So I don't know like what their plans are, but lately we've been getting a lot of home games, so that's been nice. Like we got another two coming up, and apparently more are scheduled for later on in the year. So that's starting to pick up. So I'm not really sure like where anything's at right now. They're not very transparent with a lot of stuff. But what I do know is we do have a women's professional soccer league coming in 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, so and that was started, but that was started with no help from Canada Soccer, like none. So Diana Matheson was a former player. She scored the game-winning goal in London 2012 against France to get us the bronze, our first bronze. So she's gotten like all these degrees, all this stuff. She's gone to like I've seen like her going to clubs, seeing how other leagues work. So she's pretty much like dragged everything up by herself, and like she got people working with her obviously, but like she's kind of like kickstarted this by herself and
Yeah.
and it worked really hard, and now she's like bringing a league to Canada, which is massive.
So will she basically be almost like a commissioner of it?
I think so. Yeah, I was
Okay.
still a little hazy on like some of the details.
Yes, of
There
course.
there was like a Project 8 meeting in Toronto before the game a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't make it because I'm about an hour outside of Toronto, but I think yeah, there's lots to be hopeful for that. So we've got at least some positive news coming for women's soccer in Canada.
Well, that hopefully that's a big push for women's CCL because I would love to like I know that NWSL and Liga MX Femenil are working together on some projects. Um, to play more games against each other, and I would love to like see a Canadian league added to that as well, just so that we get that competition,
Yep.
so that the North American players as a whole are not like drawn across to Europe.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? And it's a good way to develop our players. Like we've had so many players that have like almost missed out on national team development because we haven't had anywhere for them to play here. They've had to go NCAA, like go to the universities in the States, or they go abroad right away. But then you have players like that don't even get drafted. I don't know if you guys really know Vanessa Gilles that much, but she's like one of our defenders.
Hmm.
She's phenomenal. She's playing for Lyon right now.
Mm-hmm.
She was playing for Bordeaux a couple seasons ago with Bunny Shaw, and now all of a sudden she's playing with Lyon. The NWSL draft, she wasn't selected. So because I think she's from like Quebec and stuff, so she has like access to play in the French leagues. She just hopped over there, played in Bordeaux, and all of a sudden, like a couple years later, she's playing for Lyon. Like it's crazy. So the sooner we can get a league here, players like that stop getting missed.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking about you're transitioning to European leagues. Like as a Canada Soccer Canada fan, and a City fan, how difficult was the City match to watch for you personally?
It's always hard now. Like when
Against Chelsea,
I
sorry.
started watching back in 2019 when Janine Becky was still playing for us. Like I miss her. Like
Hmm.
I thought she was great when she got a chance to play. And then she left, and then all
Yeah.
the Canadians seemed to migrate to Chelsea, which was
You mean
unfortunate.
when she wasn't playing fullback?
Yeah, when she wasn't playing all over the pitch. But she's done that. Like she's such a versatile player. Like so she can almost play any position on the pitch. But yeah, definitely up top is her stronger suit. But yeah, so like now that we've had all these influx of Canadians to the league, I love it because like this is my favorite league to watch. The WSL is hands down my favorite league to watch. I think it's because it's my first one that I started watching. I watched the NWSL after, but even
Okay.
then, like I don't know, there's something about the Women's Super League that I really, really love. So yeah, seeing all the Canadians come in has made me happy, but now it's just like none of you play for City. There was a rumor that Julia Grosso was gonna come to City, and I was all excited, and then it didn't happen, and then I was really sad, and then we got Jill Roord, and then I was excited again. So it's been kind of like all my emotions been kind of like all over the place.
So I think I want to talk about City women specifically. Like, I think the biggest thing about this season is just seeing basically that Keating is the number one. Um, and it would seem based off a cup competition that McKeever is number two.
Yeah.
Um, like, what are your kind of thoughts about where Ellie is at on the depth chart? It seems like.
It's crazy. If you had asked me at the start of the season if I had thought Keating would start for us and Ellie wouldn't be anywhere near like the pitch, I would have like laughed because I just assumed Ellie would step back into the number one position when the season started up again. But yeah, it's hard because Keating has been doing such a great job. Like, how can you take that away from her now? Right? You're
Truly.
on a roll. You're on a roll. She's on a roll. Like, let her keep playing games. Let her keep going. Like you don't want to disrupt that. And with all the goalkeeper issues we've had over the past couple years, right? Like the one season she was injured, um, Bardsley was injured, and we're using our third string keeper, and that was not great for a while. So it's like we finally have like some consistency there. It's like I would like to see Keating keep playing, but what's that mean for Ellie? Like who
Mm.
knows, right? I think the role of the keeper is one of the hardest ones you can be because you lose that starting position and all of a sudden you might not get another look in for another year, another 2 years, right? Like look at what happened with England. Like all of a sudden Earps is a number one, right? When she had to
Right.
wait for years while Ellie was playing. So yeah, I think it's really tough for her, but yeah, I don't see dropping Keating anytime soon.
you can't drop Keating until she does, I guess, bad enough to give someone else a chance. But also, that's tough to then bench someone the moment they're
They
bad.
screw
Because
up. Yeah.
yeah, because that how does that work the next time you set them up again? And yeah, Garrett has a very big predicament. It's a fantastic predicament. What I love about Keating though is it's the small things. Is when when she brings the ball in, there's no movement. There's like she has that. Like
Yeah.
it's in. Obviously, she can get anywhere for the most part on the in the goal. And I feel
Yeah.
like with Ellie, there are moments where that the athleticism it's a little lacking, and
Yeah.
she might be the same height as Keating, but she seems taller than Keating, but can't get to the same place as Keating can. And I don't know, and then the distribution, just that fits with
Yeah.
what it looks like the team wants to play with this season. It fit
Mm-hmm.
and teams don't even know what to. I love so much. I get pumped. Like I stand up and I'm like yelling when she's standing there just with the ball at her foot, and the teams don't know what to do and they're
Yep.
frozen. And they're like, "Do we press? Do we back up? What do we do?" That pumps me up. And she's just standing there, and I'm like, "Yes, you terrified, you're little punks. Get them." I'm like way too intense for women's football, and
No,
that's
no,
why I'm
that's
happy
me.
I'm
That's
watching
me.
Honey.
Like that's me on a daily basis. So it's all good. But yeah, like I love Ellie dearly, but sometimes she does stuff. And I mean, when you're a City fan of men and women, you know Ederson's not exactly,
Yes. Hey,
safe
he's
and
been
safe
much
sometimes
better.
either. So it's like Ellie and Ederson, like Roebuck and Ederson, like sometimes like when I think it was like last season, I'm like, are they serious? Are they like exchanging notes or something on like how to give everybody heart attacks? Just playing out of the back of their feet. You're like, can we stop and not do this, please? But yeah, like Keating's been pretty like dominant in control for 19. Like
Yes.
that's another thing too. It's just like she is so young still, and keepers like will play well into like their 30s, right? Like
Hmm.
she's got a
Yeah.
long career ahead of her, which
Yeah.
is
And
exciting.
I think that's what's so wild about England's team for this international break is they called in Earps, they called in Keating, they called in um, Ellie, they called in Hannah Hampton, and if you really think about it, of those four goalkeepers, Keating is the most informed goalkeeper because like
Yep.
Hampton's not getting minutes,
No.
and Earps
Earps
with
let
Earps.
in quite the goal against PSG the other day.
She's really looking like she just does not want to be like. Have you ever seen someone at their
That's
job that
what it
just really
is.
looks like they don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
be at
yeah.
their
He
job?
looks like
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
It's like,
Yes.
I told you I wanted out. You guys didn't
Right.
listen to me. Right? But
All
So I
right.
can't.
yeah.
We can't let you leave without this. Like we play Leicester um, next Saturday, and that is for top of the table. Like what
Which is
I haven't.
crazy.
Which is crazy to think about
Like,
because Leicester like flirted with the relegation zone
oh
for
yeah.
so long. So like what are your thoughts on what the match at the King Power is gonna look like and what's a score prediction from you?
I think it's gonna be closer than we think it's gonna be. It's just Leicester's keeper, is it Leipzig? Like
Hmm.
she's lights out. Like she's been really, really good. So
Mhm.
I haven't watched too much of Leicester's games, so I'm not really like able to speak too much about them. But I think a lot of like they've been solid defensively and they have a good keeper, right? Like attacking powers kind of getting there. Deanne Rose just was plays for them now. So I mean, watch out for her. Uh
Right?
she's always a menace. But yeah, I'm gonna call it close. I'm gonna say like 3-1 or 2-1 City. Like I'm gonna give us the edge still, I think, just because we've been in great form. Like I don't know what's going on, but like everyone's connecting really well on the pitch right now. Um, so yeah, I think we'll get past Leicester, but I don't think it's gonna be like a 5-0 blowout like we had the other day.
Sure.
Mm.
Sure.
that was nice and comfy, right? So,
Yeah.
but that's what I like about this season so far, right? Like all these results have been unpredictable. Who knows? Leicester, like they could go on to beat us. Like all these teams, like there's been so much unpredictability. Arsenal losing to Liverpool and then like just managing to like tie some other games. Like it's been a wild start so far. And even Chelsea, I don't think looks strong, but for them, I think I'm worried about them growing into the season.
Yeah,
Like
that's exactly what I think will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
They
just signed
will
so many
improve.
players that they have to take the time. Because I've seen people like bashing like Ashley Lawrence and Kanisha Buchanan and stuff like that. And you're like,
Yeah.
you guys are full of crap and you don't like you haven't been watching any like of the Canadian games and it shows, right? Like I'm biased. I know I'm biased, but they're like those are some of the best
Right.
defenders you got out there, right? So it's just a matter of making connections with teammates and stuff. So like I'd be a little nervous playing them later on in the season, I think, but like we're rolling so far. And that's kind of nice to see given the past couple seasons where it's just been like we're injury FC and we're throwing all these players on the field, but nobody knows what they're doing, right? Like nobody because you've taken away partnerships because people have gotten injured, right? So
Mm.
it's been nice to have consistency. Gareth, I've not been the biggest fan of him in the past, but I will say only bringing in Roard is seemingly like a good idea to get this consistency in this season.
Nope, don't give them. Do not give Gaz any credit. That is Nils.
Yeah,
That's
I'm-
Nils. That's double
yeah.
N. That's not Gareth.
No, I know. Well, don't. It's the players that are doing it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I am really. I've been trying to push the whole mindset that yes, we only brought in Jill, but with Alana coming back from injury, Demi soon to come back from injury, all the players we had on loan, those are all. That's practically 5-6 new players that we have brought on, and that is how we need to mentally change that perception because a lot of people were saying we've only brought in one person, we haven't seen much, but anybody who is on FanFest Live, there's a quiz. I put in the quiz. It's one of the last questions. Who has the highest expected goals to assisted goals on the team per 90? And it's Ruby Mace.
Okay.
And she has just been extremely effective. People couldn't. They have spoken so highly about Jess Park when she was away on her loan.
Mhm.
I just think we're in this great spot where maybe we can bring in a player or two in the winter. They don't have to rush to come back because of all of the new looks that we can give all of these teams.
Yep.
Because of these said new old players. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the staying healthy. I really want all the players to stay healthy this season.
Yes.
Like the last two have been like awful. So
yeah.
if we can all stay healthy, like when you're playing Chelsea, the first like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, we are like rolling this game. Like this is gonna this could get actually like 2-3. We could be 2-3-0 up. And then the red cards started flying and yellow cards started flying and I was like that's probably the worst officiated game I think.
You want to talk to me? Yellow card. Oh,
Yeah.
you want to talk to me again? Get out
Another
of
yellow.
here.
Well, and the thing is, like, I actually have my like reffing license with Ontario Soccer.
Oh, cool.
So I did assistant reffing last summer. So I got a taste of like what it's like. Like I don't think I don't pity at center ref. Like I think it's a really really hard job for sure. But like I've gone through IFAB, I've gone through all the like I've done lots of lessons and stuff like that, and it's like there has to be some point where you use your common sense. Where if a player goes, "Oh come on," you don't card them at a call, right? If they did go like, "That's a crap call," and you know it, ref. Like that's not you warn them, card them later. If the whole team's doing that, like then you start pulling the card out. But like she was giving those things out like candy. Like it just and it seemed it started coming away. It started getting away from her, and I think she was getting angry. Like she was bringing like kind of like
Yes.
personal feelings into stuff,
Yes.
right? Like, oh, that
Yes.
player doesn't want to listen to me. You're getting carded. You're like, that's not how you're supposed to officiate games. You're
Mhm.
just supposed to almost like not be there, and you're just letting it flow. So that was just the disaster, and I don't think I haven't seen her ripping her name pop up for other games. So we'll see
I
what happens
haven't
this season.
either.
So so okay, what was more egregious in your mind then? Uh, Greenwood's second yellow in the Chelsea match, or Layla Wahhabi's red card in the West Ham match?
I still don't know what happened in that red card. I do not have a good view of that. So I don't, they never explained it to us. And like, I'm like, how did she get a red card for something I didn't even see her do? Like, if I like remember when Stanway got a red card for the boot on Galton in the derby, like you saw her cleat go into her thigh. You're like, that's a red card. But for Leia, like I didn't see anything that merited a red card offense there. So I think that one's worse because none of us saw it happen. The fourth official was just like, nope, he's gone. Yeah, like, okay, can someone like explain to us what happened? Because I saw nothing. But
Facts.
yeah, it's been three cards and, and three
Yeah.
reds. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
No more.
insane.
Yes, no more.
Right?
No
Yeah.
more.
All right.
No mas.
Well, can you please plug yourself? Let people know how to follow you, find you, if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, so it's just at Kate Tigalar on Twitter. I also am co-founder of a women's supporters group for our women's national team. We're called the Northern Lights, so you can find us
Hey.
on Twitter. Yeah. So we started our own supporters group for the women's team. We have the Voyagers, who are kind of like for both teams, but you know they get stretched a little bit thin, and we've had unfortunately some people come in with the men's success that have been not as welcoming or inclusive, especially with
Mm,
you know we have a trans non-binary player on our team. So we decided to try to create our own supporters group to be a little bit more inclusive and welcoming. And we stream the women's national team's games on Discord, so like everybody across the country can kind of watch. Like it's hard, right? Like when you're so big, like it's not like England. It's like, oh no, the game's like 3 hours away. This is terrible. It's like, no, like we go from Vancouver to out east. Like it costs like $900 to fly across the country. Like a lot of people can't make it to games, and so yeah, we created like kind of a Discord group and stuff like that so people can
I love
talk
it.
and
Love
stuff
that.
like that. So you can find us,
Dope.
yeah, at Northern Lights supporters group on Twitter. So those are kind of like the two main things I've got to plug.
All right. Well, truly, thank you, Kate.
Yes,
This
thank
has
you
been
so much.
so great.
Yeah.
Truly.
Absolutely.
And next time we have you on, you can curse. There were multiple times I saw you editing yourself. Or I heard you
Yeah,
editing
yeah.
yourself. You can let it
I'm just
lit.
just trying to watch it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
You
it.
don't have to curse. I mean, you don't have to be like.
I was about to say,
Crump. We're not trying to
Also-
push you. We're trying to push
No.
you in a direction.
But
I was
she,
saying, I kind of
but
want to
she
like
paused-
start by,
But
yeah,
she
I was,
paused herself. When people
Yeah.
like
It
pause
is the
themselves,
lit
when they're like
stream.
consciously editing
Yes.
themselves, I don't want that.
yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't
No,
want you
I don't need
consciously
to. I don't need to
editing.
be dropping like f-bombs every 2 seconds.
Yeah,
but, like
yeah.
being worried about saying crap or shit. or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right?
That's what I'm saying. I want people to. That's what I'm. Thank you, Kate, for understanding what I'm saying. I don't appreciate you guys for trying to make me the bad guys again. Stop that.
That's all I know how to do, man. That's what I do
I think
best.
everybody does a little bit of editing though. Like you get on one of these things and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yes.
be on like my best
Yes.
behavior.
Yeah.
And then like once you
Mhm.
start doing once you get more comfortable with stuff, then you're like, nah, screw that. Like just let stuff
Okay.
fly.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
love it.
So,
But-
He
second time,
called
Kate.
the lit stream on purpose, you know, so people can turn
I
up
could try.
completely.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
and even in the wording in like the group chats, I've tried to like in that try to like hint, hey, you can relax, you can curse, you can do all that stuff. But I actually think I might need to just put in you can curse. It's adjustments, you know. We're building.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yes, Kate. Truly, I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your
so much,
night.
Kate. Yes.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
See ya.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, this next guest, I'm super excited. It's the homie Kyle. He is not a City fan, but we gotta have one every lit stream. We get a little bias, a little lenient sometimes, and people try to give us crap.
I will say this about Kyle. Kyle Kyle, the teams that Kyle supports are diametrically opposed to every team that I support. Every single team. However, I still love him and know that he's a good dude.
Yes, and that is the one thing I definitely know about him. And he has basically become my one blue sky friend, like where we consistently have been communicating through that. So shout out to him. Shady Gang, say hi, hello, hey to Kyle.
What's going on?
Hey.
How are you? How are you? How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. It's not the weather's not too bad here, so dealing with it while I can, you know.
Okay,
Where are
so
you? Tell us where
so-
you're joining us from.
yes, perfect. Start there.
I am in Omaha, Nebraska, so right in the middle of the U.S.
Yes, and so what I was gonna give our open spirit real quick, give ourselves a cute, cool little humble brag. I just love our guests. You know, the change. Miami, Canada, the middle of America. You for your topic, you put USL League One playoffs. Again, we went from city MLS to women's soccer to USL League One. Please let us know about that. I guess it is. I have because I know so many people who are interested in US League One now. I've put more interest in it, and I found out that there's a team a couple hours near me, and there's a team in the town where I grew up in, and they have been there for a while, and this is really dope. So please let people know about the USL League One, the team you root for, and why we should, I guess, pay more attention to USL League One.
Well, I cheer for Union Omaha, obviously, being from Omaha. The team that won the regular season for only the only team that's done it twice now. The playoffs start tomorrow. Top 6 teams make it. Top 2 teams get a bye, so I don't have any stress this weekend. But yeah, it's a little more chaotic than MLS sometimes. I feel like there's a good supporters culture growing, and it's just fun to watch the game.
When you say more chaotic than MLS, chaotic in what sense?
Just the action on the field. Sometimes it's like you'll get. I don't know how to describe it. Just the way the game's played. We've got the third division refs, so that doesn't help matters any at all. So you never know when the call is going to go your way, not go your way. Sometimes we got to try to teach them how to call offsides. So that never helps, but it definitely makes things interesting sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that you cheer for Union Omaha. I know also that like you are like closely tied to some supporters groups with Union Omaha. Can you talk a little bit more about us, or talk about a little bit more about that with us? I'm this is the third one, so like words are getting a little difficult.
Yeah, I'm a part of the Omaha Parliament, which is kind of the main independent supporters group. We do a tailgate in the stadium parking lot before the game. Everybody's welcome. And we play at a baseball stadium, which isn't really ideal. But we have like a grassy hill in the outfield where that's for the supporter section. And, you know, we got kids running around waving flags and banging on drums and whatever. And it's just a good time.
So what kind of is the player profile of like USL One as a whole? Like where are these players coming from?
A lot of them are younger, kind of like out of college or whatever, trying to build their way up the ladder. Sometimes you'll get guys that maybe took a step back and they're trying to build back up. It's a transitional league, so we don't get a lot of players that stay for a long time. But it's good to see guys. You can see them go on and be proud of them when they're playing at a higher level.
So, are there any like players that have like formally played for Union Omaha that have like kind of had like good careers in like other leagues, maybe like USL Championship or MLS or something else?
I know Greg Hurst. I think he's playing for New Mexico now. He's had a pretty good career there. We had a couple guys, Damia Villader and Ferretti Sosa, that went to the Sacramento Republic that made it to the semifinal of the U.S. Open Cup last year.
Oh.
So, yeah, we've had some guys go on to be successful.
It's dope.
Well, I guess for people like me who like the Premier League, and general people who could be like Euro snobs, what would be like a selling point for USL League One?
Really, the selling point is that it's local. You go and you see your friends that you see at the game all the time. You try to. I mean, the Premier League clubs, they've been around for 100 years, or 150 years, or whatever. They kind of have a culture, and we're working on building our culture around our team and deciding how we want that to look.
Well, and DT3 has. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing is just that, like he said, is that local. You can go and drive around a corner, and then there's and again, for some markets, that's MLS. If you live in, LA, you can go to Angel City, or if you live in San Diego, you can go to the Wave or whatever, right? Same thing on the MLS side, but not every metro area has an MLS team, and so the part that I hate is we don't have that promotion and relegation, because Omaha, I think you said they're going to get the bye. Why can't they, if they win the league, why can't they go up to USL Championship? But that doesn't happen that way. And now I think USL is talking about potentially adding promotion relegation, but even with that doesn't include MLS, and so it's very much different than I'll say the rest of the world. I won't even say Europe. I'll say the rest of the world, in that you can play your way up and you can find whatever level your aspirations are. And that's just not the way it works in the US at all. But you try to, but again, it's local, and you can go and support that club right there. So long answer. I apologize, Kyle. I'll let you get back to it, man.
One of the teams in our league, North Carolina FC, is actually moving up next year, but they're doing it the American way, where you just buy into the next league up. And so we have teams like we had Charlotte Independence drop down from championship. And teams go up and down, but not like in the competitive way like we would prefer, obviously.
It's more of like a financial thing.
Very much so, yeah.
Ooh, money talks the American way.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess
you were going to talk about DT3's question. I think.
Yes,
you touched on it briefly, but
yes. Are you looking forward to USL League One expansion?
Yeah, I'm always. It's always nice when there's new teams coming in. We just had a couple. I think this is their second season, Northern Colorado and Fuego. We've got teams coming in out of, I think, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Portland, Maine. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you add more teams, there's more competition, there's more spots for guys to get jobs. And you don't play the same team, so many times every season. You actually get some variety.
So you mentioned Fort Wayne. So I know there was talk initially about they started in League Two, trying to get to League One. I think League One is where they wanted to be. But I haven't heard anything else about that. Are you breaking news on the lit stream?
I'm pretty sure they're coming up
I hope
either
so.
next year or the year after. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's really soon.
Sweet.
Eric, we expect to get some reports from that. By the way,
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to get my. No, we don't need to talk about that. Never mind. My daughter's going to school for public relations, right? So I was looking at it just now because he brought up USL. I was like, I need to send this to her summer internship. Get on there and work in the sport. So we'll see.
There we go.
Tarek always has dad brain on. I appreciate that.
I do. Yeah, I do. Can't help it.
Oh man, I love it. Okay, so Kyle, what I'm trying to figure out. Let's just start here. Do you only support USL League One?
Oh no. I watch way too much soccer.
So what leagues are you invested in, or excuse me, what leagues do you have a team in, like that you support?
Well,
I mean, I can see your hat, so that's a dead giveaway for one.
yeah, I do like Olympic Lyonnais. Yeah, my first club was Manchester United, and we don't need to talk too much about their season right now.
I mean, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Cool.
I'm a big Bundesliga fan. I cheer for FC Köln.
Go
Which
team!
they're-
Shout out Jake.
Absolutely. They're also not having a good season, but they're not having as many off the field issues, at least. And I watch a lot of Liga MX, men and women. I cheer for Tigres. And those are the ones I get like emotional about, like following.
I love that. Okay. Well, shoot. I mean, I personally don't have anything else. I guess so. We have the USL playoffs. We're rooting for naturally your team, but I would be rude to not mention Ford Madison. Shout out to Kyle. How are you feeling on your chances in the playoffs?
Well, Omaha hasn't lost in their last 14 matches.
Ooh.
So we're pretty on a hot streak right now. We've like in the middle of the season, we couldn't score. We were giving up late goals, and we were drawing a lot. And we basically just decided we were done losing. And we took 40 of the last 42 points of the season to finish at the top. So I like our chances. We got home field advantage. It's a tough place to play because the field is like the minimum size you can have. So it's an adjustment for teams to come in.
So does the manager of Union Omaha kind of take advantage of the smaller pitch in their play style?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's really fast paced because there's a lot, there's less space. Our two wingbacks, they just up and down the field all day. I don't understand how they have such good cardio, but that's what they do. But yeah, it's a quick style. Lots of shots, and it's fun to watch.
All right, well, homie, before we get you out of here, please plug yourself. Let people know how to find you if that's something you want to do.
My handle is Kyle, but over here on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram. I don't really post there very much. And that's about it.
Hey, all right. There we go. I mean, you're a little.
Yeah.
You got it. It was a little late, but yeah, you got it. Got it.
Got it. I got it. I did it.
Proud of you, Tom Baum.
Appreciate it.
Kyle, you have a good rest of your night. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Shady Gang, we appreciate you on FanFest Live, YouTube's, the Twitters. I am Crunk Chocolate. This is Tarek. Down there is Tom Seltzer Killer. We out here. You guys, I mean, I normally don't have us do this, but let's do this. Tom Bomb, please let people know how to find you.
As I said at the end of the last episode of Shades of Blue, which everyone should go check out. If there's a social media platform and I participate on it, you can find me at TomBomb816.
Consistency. I appreciate that. It makes life so much easier.
I knew your dad brain would love that.
No, it's so much easier. Although I don't do it myself. You know what? I had started telling people just find me on Twitter, but I just really hate the way the platform is being used. So if you must find me on Twitter, I'm there at Tarek Peterson, TarikPeterson. But you can also find me on what's the other one? Threads. You can find me there. You can find me there at TK Peterson 12. The letter T, the letter K, last name Peterson, the number 1, the number 2. Yeah, you can find me there. I'm trying to use that more because I just don't like Twitter very much.
Yeah,
and I'll never call it by that other name. It's always going to be Twitter.
I am Crunk Phoenix on Twitter, Instagram, Crunk Chocolate, Shades of Blue Pod. We're on TikTok. We're on actually on Blue Sky. It's me. It's Crunk Chocolate. On Threads, it's Shades of Blue because I'm not opening a personal Threads account because it's tied directly to your personal account. You can't get rid of your Threads without getting rid of your personal account. I don't want to do that. But Shades of Blue is fine. Yeah, Crunk Chocolate, Crunk Phoenix, Shades of Blue Pod. Type them in, find it. Either way, there's a link tree. I make sure all that stuff's tied to all of anything that I'm trying to push for us. You know the vibes. Shady Gang. Shady Gang. Oh, also, I'm actually wearing my high school rugby jersey right now. The men's team that we're tied to, they're in Division III playoffs right now. They're traveling all the way down to North Dakota this weekend to play the first round of playoffs. I want to say shout out to the Quad City Irish. Good luck and kick some ass, guys. And yeah, see you guys. Everyone's probably cut out by now. I was gonna plug stuff. I need to start plugging stuff early. Make these